So you're officially amazing, and you're from
Yes.
Australia?
Yes.
How long have you been hooping? Yes.
A long time now. I graduated from, no, either way it sounds really old. I graduated from circus school in 2004.
Oh wow. So hooping was not such a big thing like that.
No, I actually specialized in swimming in circus school.
So you started hooping in 2004?
Yeah.
What kind of hoop did you use in 2004?
I had a terrible piece of water irrigation piping that had some wood in it, some staples, some glue. It was hideous.
Did you see anybody hoop? Had you seen somebody hoop?
Not really. I did rhythmic gymnastics. So I had a bamboo hoop when I did rhythmic. So
those are smaller or no?
They were a little bit smaller and they weren't very nice to hoop with.
So you really kind of almost did this in a vacuum.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That could be good. We had some jugglers once that I met. It was good and bad. They were juggling in the village and they'd never seen any of the jugglers.
Yeah.
And they had some amazing stuff that they were doing that no one had ever really done it that way. But then there was bizarre things, like they were passing with their arms up here rather than down here, you know what I mean? But they were from Vancouver. And eventually we introduced them to the Juggling Association, and they weren't happy about that because everybody started ripping off the material, you know?
Yeah.
And Dr. Hot Neon, and then they ended up touring. But it's interesting when people learn kind of like without a lot of influence.
Definitely, and there's different techniques. Everywhere I go, I find there's people doing really different techniques.
So what do you think of that now? Is that good or bad? Or what's your reaction when you see things that, you know, that you haven't seen?
I think it's really great. I'm really into it. I find that a lot of the time I'll go to some places and people really feel like they invented that trick.
Right.
It's like, well, no, you didn't. It's been around for a while. Especially with rhythmic gymnastics, like a lot of the hooping tricks that you see now, you know, in rhythmic gymnastics, they've been around forever. But I think it's really exciting, and I think the community overall, like throughout the world, it's such a like friendly community, and I've met hoopers everywhere because I'm traveling all the time with work.
Yeah, when I saw flags for the first time, it was popular in the gay community, and it was a bunch of guys doing it in Central Park, and I really, blew my mind. I said, wow, these guys don't realize, but they're doing like essentially like club swinging type stuff with flags, and they didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then I introduced a guy, Alan Jacobs, who was really well known, in the 80s for club swinging, and he hadn't seen flagging. So I ended up taking him to a flagging class, and it was very interesting for those guys to meet each other and see, like, wow, he's telling me, no, this is all wrong what you're doing. You should be doing this, and vice versa.
Do you have moves that people have more or less quote-unquote copied that you do?
Definitely. I mean, I don't think I invented anything. I think everyone's, I've definitely got some signature moves in my routines that people really know, and that people associate with me. And I have a junior troupe in London of girls, Marawa the Amazing, and they definitely have learned. I've taught them a lot of my sort of sequences. And
so you perform all the time?
Yeah.
That's how you make a living, right?
Yeah.
What kind of venues?
Everything from, in the UK, I work in some of the really big, I guess it's like the West End in the UK, like they have here. So the Hippodrome, which is a really huge venue, the Roundhouse, which is a huge venue, and then I've managed to get into some of the palaces, which is nice. And then I work a lot in Europe, so in Paris, a lot of the really beautiful theatres there. There's lots of really beautiful theatres all throughout Europe. A lot of them that are kind of falling apart now, but they hold a lot of nice shows.
One with Michelle, you doing?
Yeah, I just did a solo show. I actually just finished last week in London at Shoreditch Town Hall, it's a combination. It does, I do a lot of other skills, jump rope, skipping, and trapeze, and roller skating, and hula hoops, and I do a magic act, a sword butter act. Get a watermelon chopped on my stomach.
Are you also part of other shows?
Yeah, I've worked a lot with a company called Le Clique and La Soirée, which was, it's now called La Soirée, it used to be called Le Clique. And we won the Olivier Award for Best Entertainment, and we've toured. We just did 10 weeks at Sydney Opera House this year, which was really great.
So you're part of that show?
Yeah.
I see.
So you got 4 hoops. Do you do one hoop stuff?
Yeah.
Is that not your thing so much?
No, I'm not. I'm really into just one hoop.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I like multiples as well. Like I split them on my body, but I perform, as we were talking about before, in high heels a lot. So it kind of limits performing-wise what I do.
Right. As you know, like a lot of the Russian circus performers from way back, they did a lot of multiple hoop and that whole slinky thing.
Yeah.
But nothing that I've ever seen that's so sophisticated as what you or other hoopers are doing now with one or a smaller number of hoops.
Bob Branson is my hero. He's my hero.
Oh, you know him?
He's my hero.
Oh,
yeah.
see, I actually knew him, met him, and we actually.
He's trying to track him down forever. I know he's hiding in Germany somewhere.
I think he might have passed away.
No, I heard he's still in Germany. Last year he was still in Germany.
Oh, okay. Because, we know him. But there's not a lot of cross-pollination between hoopers and jugglers.
No, but he's the best.
So does the hoop rolling, does he now?
He does. He does. And that one before I was doing is one of his tricks.
Well, the skill in that is pretty amazing because, you know, when he's getting these things into a little corral.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he does like 18 of them.
Yeah, a lot of precision in that,
Yeah.
a lot of time. Everything's got to be just right. We have only one customer that's done that target round.
Wow.
They got wooden bicycle hooves.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to a time where there wasn't any glass.
Yeah.
So, you know, they took bike hooves, bike rims.
Yeah.
And did that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So what do you got going for us now?
That was, well, I was just, I don't know, I'm just splitting. I can split, I should really drop that bottom one. That's a 4-hook split.
This looks like kind of a little
This
bit
is
closer.
really difficult
Yeah,
to
you got parts
do.
of your body that don't really, you know, don't typically work independently so well, right?
Yeah, no, I find like I've been teaching a lot of people and people always want to know about, because I can split, you know, 7 or 8 of them on my body, but the hardest thing with splitting, the hardest thing is one on the waist and one on the knees.
I would guess that. I don't really even hardly move.
Yeah.
My instinct would be that would be very, very
That's the hardest one. If you can get that, if you can consistently keep that going,
Yeah.
then that's all the work done.
So that's Natalie, and you're going to show her on the screen.
Great.
That's going to be cool.
Let's do it. So how do you do it at the moment? Do you already do this trick?
I'm working on it. I can split this way, but I'm working on being able to do knees
So just
and
do,
waist.
so show me just your knees.
Okay.
Take this one out. So start at your waist though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no cheating. You gotta start everything at your waist, definitely. So looking up, don't look down. Brilliant.
And
the thing,
both knees.
yeah, that's okay. The thing with doing it on your knees or any tricks is that if you start looking down, which a lot of people do, your spine's not straight. So it's much, you can't move forward. It's much harder if you're looking down. So you want to keep your spine straight. So always keep your head up, and you can still see it in your peripheral, even when it's on your knees. You'll be able to see it there. But try not to feel where it is. That's it. Relax your face. That's what I always say to all my girls.
Yeah.
And then, so if you're spinning to the left like you are now, your right knee should be doing the pop. That's it. That's really good. And you want to think, so you keep your feet together, which you've already done, and you want to think about, rather than pushing your knee out and making a gap or anything like that, you want to think about it being across a little bit and up.
Okay.
Kind of like you really
I
need
have
to pee. That's what I'm
Baggy pants on for
Yeah.
this.
Yes, you have the
I have shorts for class tonight. I'm taking her workshop tonight.
you have
Yeah.
the you have the
So
least
you're gonna be
suitable
sweating. It's gonna be
wardrobe for this.
I'll do that one too.
Okay.
So now, when you're splitting them, you want to do the same thing. You're going to keep it going on your waist, and then you're going to slow it down. And then when it gets to your hip bone, you'll feel it start to separate.
Okay.
And when you keep pushing that one on your waist, that's important, because a lot of people just forget about the waist one.
Right.
They just think about the one going down. But you want to
Okay.
keep pushing your waist, because otherwise they'll start getting tangled. And then it's like a spiral. So it's very fast. It's almost like that fast. But it's
Okay.
like knee waist, knee waist, knee waist, knee waist, knee waist, like one behind the other, like that.
Okay.
And then they'll just be like that, following each other.
Okay.
So keep breathing. So focus on that knee one. Yeah. So your knees were perfect, but what you did is you forgot your waist.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So you get it. So you let it go down, but you keep pushing your waist the whole time. And the other thing that's really important when you're doing it on your knees is dropping it to your knees and keeping going on your knees is one trick, and that's usually what you get first. But what's important is that you can do it on your knees, in the middle of your thighs, and
Right,
keep it there,
control the-
just under your bum, on your hips, in all those different spots, and isolating
Okay.
and keeping it in each spot, which is another exercise in
Yes.
itself. But we're just going to
Okay.
skip ahead and go straight to here.
Okay.
That's it. So you let it drop to your hips and push it out a little with your hips. Feel them split. You've got magnet hoops now, that one's so together. That's it. And see, that was good. So that time you kept the waist one going.
Right.
You've got each bit.
Okay.
It's just getting them together.
Putting them
It's a bit
together.
like this.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it's the hardest bit.
Yes.
Once you've done that and mastered it, everything else is just super easy.
Yeah, awesome.
The reason I asked for one hoop is, you know, when I was a young juggler, everything was about numbers. So you do 7, you do 9, I was doing 11. What's the record people have? But for me, yeah, the more you get into it, you guys like Michael Motion build a career just on one ball,
Yeah.
kind of starting contact juggling and all that. So I don't dismiss the numbers, but sometimes it's interesting
Oh
to
no,
see what
I
you
like
do
it.
at
No,
one.
no, I know you
It's
can.
almost more challenging because to
Yeah.
do 7 balls takes everything you've got and that's it.
Yeah.
But to do 3 balls, you know, you're not going to stand there and just do 3. You have to start, you know, getting
Yeah.
creative, building a routine with them.
sure.
So it's interesting to see,
For sure.
for me, what person do with
Educated
one eye.
audiences, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's easier for me to understand one hoop because
Yeah.
if you do something difficult, I know it.
Yeah.
You know?